In some secluded valleys of the Eastern Alps, ruins covered in moss and fallen trees can be glimpsed. The pale skeletons of villages that once were, and stubborn walls define time and the elements. These are the remnants of mountain communities, vestiges of a past eroded by 2 world wars and a society that changed, drawing people toward the plains and cities like water flowing from the peaks. The mountains here are rugged, narrow and wild, now cloaked in trees and the faint traces of men and women who are no longer. It was their toil that defied gravity, raising structures that today are often hard to interpret. Here, hidden in the mists, lingers the memory of ways of life we have fled from, ways of being that vanished just moments ago and that belong not to distant ancestors, but to our very grandparents. So we're going down the valley now, and this is one of the first settlements you come across. The wood still standing. There are some stairs. You would like going up, and pretty big room, right? Pretty big space. Maybe stable. There you can see rocks protruding from the wall, so likely holding beams. So a second floor, maybe to store hay or something else. I don't know, it's hard to judge if this was a stable place for animals or for humans. So there is the house, right? And here there is, just a few meters behind it, pretty steep slope, goes down, down, down in that side valley there. So, and there are rocks there, rock cliffs. Ah, here we are, the church. This is the church that was restored. By the creek. Wow. Oh, this is a memory of the people who died in the First World War and in the Second World War. That guy, he says, was lost, never found in Russia. So when the Italians invaded Russia following Hitler, it says that Canal di Cunha, which is this valley, it's the valley of Cunha, remembers its dead people. And speaking of crosses and dead people, I think it's the right moment to highlight something that maybe is not really apparent, but when you think about it, it is a striking thought. That is, we have a church here, we have houses, buildings, and you have many more inside valleys. So quite a few people lived here. What you don't see here around is a graveyard. So when someone died, you needed to carry the person all the way up from where we came, and then for many more kilometers down the main valley. But problem was winter time. So going up all the way from where we came could not have been an easy task in particular conditions such as heavy snowfall or ice. So you needed to keep the dead person, the dead body, in your house until it was feasible to carry the person, the body. There. So these are problems that we don't think about now, but people who live there probably had to think about it quite a lot. Oh jeez. Oh, the window is open here. Why? Why? What is written here? Oh, yes. It says, if you keep the window closed, the humidity inside increases a lot. Better so to leave it open. Yeah. So this is the journal of the church. Quite a lot of dead spiders. Let's see who was the last person visiting. Oh, last person was 4th of January. So today's the 25th, so 21 days ago. Okay, we went a bit off track here. I mean, this should be an old path. It's a bit steep, not so sure we're following the right one. Seems so. No signs of humanity for a while now, or at least recent humanity, because that one seems to me as some kind of a wall. It's a furnace, the remnants of a pretty big furnace, but this is incredibly well preserved. Like, it's one of, there are so many around in this mountain, but this one is probably the best preserved one I've ever seen. And from here you can still see there, that one there is the, where you used to put, you know, fuel inside. It's the opening. You used to put fuel inside from there. Incredible. And we're in the middle of nowhere, and we just discovered this incredible piece of ancient economy and craftsmanship. Look at that. There is not even a trail leading here. It's like this is just like a proof of how these mountains, like, they look like completely wild now, but they didn't used to be. So, look at this. Wow. This is a piece of gear, a tool, you know, you made a rope pass above it to lift things. So we probably used it to, I don't know, build the furnace or probably lift wood to use for combustion, or trees, something like this. But this is really old, and it has been left here Forgotten. Wow. We just left the furnace down there, come up through this pretty steep rock, and we found walls here in the middle of the woods. This has clearly has been, look, clearly has been like flattened. There was something here. Don't know what, maybe they used to make coal in this place or collect wood, or I don't know. There is another wall there, then another one there, this one which makes an angle with this other one. Don't know. According to the map, there should be some ruins up there. So let's go and check. So we are completely off track here now, but we keep finding structures, old walls. Look here. So human activities here and there scattered all around. There is completely no sign of any path. So we are kind of roaming, keeping the creek as a reference point, because as you can see, it's easy to get lost here, very easy. So we're being cautious, and now we're going to check up there because it seems that it has been flattened pretty much. So, and now we've been wondering for a while if this that looks like a creek now, well, when there is rain pouring, but this was an actual path coming up. Looks like it was cornered by walls, and I mean, look at this place, it's pretty flattened, and this one looks like a step, and then another step. I mean, after a while you start to recognize those signs after roaming for a while, and I see it there. You might not see it in camera. Gotcha, that is a wall. That is a house. Oh well, what remains of a house out there in front of us. I knew it. Wow. We were actually wrong. That was not a house. Those were houses. That is a settlement. An entire settlement. So we got a little bit enthusiastic there, but I mean, look at this. Look at this. It's an entire small settlement, like 3, 4, 5 houses maybe. Well, looks like they had 3 floors. 3 floors and a attic at least, or sorry, 2 floors and a attic, something like that. Pretty big houses, pretty big ones. Most likely they had no glass on the windows here, and there are those beams protruding from the walls. There should have been like a walking area made of wooden beams outside there, just because one thing is that old houses here, they didn't have internal stairs. They had, if you wanted to change floor, you needed to get outside, walk outside, and then go up. So internal stairs were something that was brought here around the 1800s, like beginning of the 1800s. So if these houses are older, or they didn't have the resources to build internal stairs, they relied on external ones. So imagine it's winter, it's raining, it's really, really cold, and you need to get out or change floor, and you need to get out, right? Walk us out of your house to do it. This looks like a small hallway between buildings. And what is this? Oh, jeez. This is a box. Yeah, it's a box. There is also a handle here. So we got inside. We found this. This should have been like the sink probably. Now it's all collapsed. Of course, we are standing on the roof. But that was probably the sink, and here you can see all the...
Paint, maybe.
It was maybe painted, yeah. These ones to hang stuff. And look at this. A little bit crushed.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. Just think about how many things must be buried down here. And what is this one? This one. What is this? This might have been to hold something. Hold something on the wall. And this to put something. Yeah, I don't know, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, this seems pretty dangerous, but I'm going to go through it. Anyways, very quickly. Because wow, we saw it from outside. This is a sink. I bet this was a sink. This is what remains of it. Wow. Oh, and there's still the beam. The roof beam up there. And it was painted in red. Look at that. Also there. It was all painted all around the sink. And at the bottom there also. And just outside of the settlement, the fountain. Or what remains of the fountain. Probably also to wash clothes. So there must have been water here. There must have been like a spring, or maybe there still is. Maybe the spring is much up there, but they use the pipe to transport water till here, and maybe now the pipe is broken and there's no water anymore, of course. Silly me. That was only the fountain, not to wash clothes. This one was the one, the fountain to wash clothes. Here you would have put your clothes and you would have washed them. Yeah. Oh, it's covered in moss. But this is it. This is called, in the local language, it's called a lavador. So that is a lavador. A place where you wash stuff. Just outside of the settlement. Jesus. Oh. So this was a perfectly functioning and functional settlement. Completely independent. They had a fountain. Oh, this was probably the exhaust pipe hole. There was a fountain, place to wash. Down there was a furnace to build. So they were totally self-sufficient here in the middle of nowhere. They had everything they needed to carry on. They surely had animals. Stables were somewhere in the middle. One of those rooms were probably a stable, more than one most likely, or animals were just roaming. No woodland here, just meadows and grass and terraces here, so they could like crop things and have some kind of agriculture to sustain themselves. And yeah, they relied only on themselves and carried on. The last person left the valley in 1961, but after 1944 most of people already had left, and there was only one person in 1961. And yeah, so this place saw some tragic happenings, like for example during the Second World War, Cossacks were present here in this part of Italy because Hitler promised them this land as their territory if we would have helped him fight the Allies in Italy. So for 2 years, more or less, there was a Cossack republic all over here. And in 1944, Cossacks had a raid in this valley. They reached it and they killed 2 people, wife and husband. So, you know, we've seen there, people were taken from here, sent to Russia in the Second World War, or to the front in the First World War. So it was very far away from the rest of the world, but not enough to shield you from the big happenings of history, and the most tragic ones as well. So this stands as this rocks all the memory of people that were far away, but you're never far away enough. You're never immune to what is happening around you and the big happenings of history. Right, folks, back in the car. Battery died while we were on the trail, and yeah, a few things happened actually. We took a trail, like a path, and it was an illusion basically. It didn't exist. It was an old one. It was marked on the map, but it was long gone. And so we followed for a bit. We were actually following like broken branches, maybe left from hunters or who knows who, and they ended up nowhere. So we were basically in the middle of nowhere, and no trail, nothing. So yeah, and it was getting dark, so we headed back, traced our steps back, and here we are. Now it's kind of spooky here around. The fog is coming down from the mountains, and yeah, and the road is a bit yeah, bumpy. So I think we deserve the beer. Yeah. So these are not easy places to live, to build. This is a perfectly preserved skull. I don't know, a badger?
Perfectly preserved.